In our last video, we explored what minimalism is. The definition. The different types. The spectrum of how people practice it. But knowing what something is doesn't answer the most important question. Why? Why do people choose minimalism? What benefits does it bring? And just as importantly, what are the honest challenges? Today, we're going to look at both sides. The good and the hard. Because if you're considering minimalism, you deserve the full picture. Not just the beautiful before and after photos. Not just the inspiring success stories. But the real, complete truth. Let's start with the benefits. And there are many. But I want to be clear. These benefits are backed by research. These aren't just feel-good claims. These are measurable improvements that studies have documented. The first and perhaps most significant benefit is reduced stress. And I'm not talking about feeling slightly less stressed. I'm talking about dramatic reductions in stress levels. Studies have shown that clutter directly increases cortisol, your body's primary stress hormone. When you live in a cluttered environment, your brain sees all that stuff as unfinished work. As problems to solve. As tasks to complete. And this triggers a constant, low-level stress response. Research from UCLA found that people living in cluttered homes have significantly higher cortisol levels than those in organized spaces. Particularly women. The constant visual reminder of disorganization drains your mental energy and keeps your stress response activated. But here's the remarkable part. When people declutter and simplify their spaces, their stress levels can drop dramatically. One study found that adopting minimalism can decrease stress levels by up to 75%. That's not a small improvement. That's life-changing. Think about that. Imagine if 3/4 of your daily stress just disappeared. Not because you changed your job or your relationships or your circumstances. But because you changed your environment. The second benefit is more time. And this one is obvious when you think about it, but most people don't realize how much time they're losing. When you own less stuff, you spend less time maintaining that stuff. Less time cleaning. Less time organizing. Less time looking for things you've lost. Less time shopping for storage solutions. Less time managing your possessions. Minimalists consistently report having more free time. Time they used to spend managing their stuff is now available for things they actually care about. Reading. Creating. Spending time with people they love. Pursuing hobbies. Resting. One participant in a minimalism study said, "I used to spend my weekends cleaning and organizing. Now I spend them living." The third benefit is more money. And this happens in two ways. First, when you adopt minimalism, you buy less. You become more intentional about purchases. You ask yourself, do I really need this, before buying? And often, the answer is no. Research shows that nearly half of Americans have over $1,000 worth of unused items in their homes. Items they bought but never use. That's money wasted. Money that could have been saved or spent on experiences that actually matter. Second, many minimalists sell their excess possessions. And this can bring in significant money. Some people make thousands of dollars by selling things they no longer need. But beyond the direct financial benefit, minimalism breaks the cycle of consumer debt. When you stop trying to keep up with others, when you stop buying things to fill emotional voids, you spend less and save more. Financial stress decreases. Financial freedom increases. The fourth benefit is better focus and productivity. And this one is backed by neuroscience. Clutter competes for your attention. When you're in a cluttered space, your brain is constantly processing all those visual stimuli, trying to filter out what's important. And this uses mental energy. A study published in the Journal of Neuroscience found that clutter makes it harder to focus and process information. It reduces your ability to concentrate and increases mental fatigue. But when you simplify your environment, your brain doesn't have to work so hard. You can focus better, think more clearly, work more efficiently. Many minimalists report increased productivity not because they're working harder, but because they're working in environments that support focus instead of fighting against it. The fifth benefit is mental clarity. And this goes beyond just focus. When you practice minimalism, you're forced to make decisions about what's valuable to you. What matters? What doesn't? This process brings clarity to your values. You start understanding yourself better. Many people go through life accumulating things without really thinking about why. They buy what they're supposed to want. They keep things because they think they should. But minimalism makes you question all of that. And through that questioning, you gain clarity. You discover what truly matters to you. And once you know that, decision-making becomes easier in all areas of life. The sixth benefit is improved sleep. And this one surprises many people. Research shows that people with cluttered bedrooms have more difficulty falling asleep and lower quality sleep overall. The visual clutter creates mental stimulation that makes it harder for your brain to wind down. But when people declutter their bedrooms, they report falling asleep faster and sleeping more deeply. Minimalism creates the calm environment that supports good sleep. And good sleep affects everything else. Your mood, your health, your energy, your decision-making. The seventh benefit is better mental health overall. Studies have found a positive association between minimalism and well-being in about 85% of research. People who practice voluntary simplicity, as researchers call it, report higher levels of positive emotion and life satisfaction than those who don't. Minimalism helps with anxiety and depression by creating a sense of control. When your environment is simple and organized, you feel more in control of your life. And feeling in control reduces anxiety. It also promotes mindfulness. When you have less stuff demanding your attention, you can be more present, more aware, more connected to the moment you're actually living in. Now, these are real benefits. Documented, measurable, significant. And for many people, these benefits alone make minimalism worth pursuing. But I promised you the full picture. And the full picture includes the challenges, the trade-offs, the honest difficulties that minimalism can bring. Let's talk about those now. The first challenge is social pressure. When you declare you're a minimalist, you become accountable. People notice what you buy, what you keep, how you live. And they might judge you for it. Some people will think you're weird. Some will think you're being extreme. Some will feel uncomfortable because your choices highlight their own excess. You might face questions at family gatherings. Why don't you have more decorations? Why is your house so empty? Don't you want nice things? And holidays become complicated. People want to give you gifts. But you're trying not to accumulate more stuff. How do you handle that without offending people you care about? This social pressure is real. And for some people, it's one of the hardest parts of minimalism. The second challenge is that the minimalist aesthetic isn't for everyone. When most people think of minimalism, they picture white walls, empty spaces, stark designs. And not everyone likes that. Some people love warmth, color, fullness. They like maximalist design. They like collections and displays and rich visual environments. And that's completely valid. If you're someone who finds joy in a full, colorful, eclectic space, forcing yourself into a minimalist aesthetic will make you miserable. And that defeats the entire purpose. It's important to understand that you can practice minimalism without having a minimalist aesthetic. You can own only what you need and love, and what you love might be colorful and abundant. That's okay. The third challenge is the initial difficulty of letting go. For many people, decluttering is emotionally hard. We attach memories to objects. We attach identity to possessions. We hold on to things because of guilt, or fear, or hope. Letting go means confronting those emotions. And that's not easy. Many people start decluttering and find themselves crying. Or feeling anxious. Or experiencing real grief over letting go of things. This emotional work is necessary. But it's work. And some people aren't ready for it. The fourth challenge is that minimalism can sometimes feel like deprivation. Especially at first. When you're used to buying whatever you want whenever you want it, saying no feels restrictive. When you're used to a full closet, a simplified wardrobe feels limiting. When you're used to abundance, less can feel like sacrifice. This feeling usually passes. Most minimalists report that after the adjustment period, they don't feel deprived at all. They feel freed. But that adjustment period can be uncomfortable. The fifth challenge is that relationships might change. And this is one people don't talk about enough. When you adopt minimalism, you might find that some relationships don't work anymore. Friends who love shopping together might not understand why you've stopped. Family members might feel judged by your choices, even if you're not judging them. Some relationships will deepen. The ones based on shared values and real connection. But others might fade. And that can be painful. The sixth challenge is that minimalism requires ongoing commitment. It's not a one-time decluttering project. It's a lifestyle. Things will accumulate. Life will bring new stuff. You'll need to keep making intentional choices. Keep saying no. Keep letting go. And that requires sustained effort. Some people love this ongoing practice. Others find it exhausting. There's no right or wrong. Just awareness that minimalism isn't something you do once and forget about. Now, given these benefits and challenges, who is minimalism for? Minimalism tends to work well for people who feel overwhelmed by their possessions. If you look around your home and feel stressed instead of peaceful, minimalism might help. It works well for people who value time and freedom over accumulation. If you'd rather have an extra hour in your day than another decoration on your shelf, minimalism aligns with your values. It works well for people seeking financial independence. If consumer debt is stressing you out, or if you want to save more and spend less, minimalism provides a framework. It works well for environmentally conscious people. If you care about your environmental impact, consuming less is one of the most effective actions you can take. It works well for people in transition. Moving. Changing careers. Starting over. Times when you need to simplify and focus on what's essential. And it works well for people who want more meaning and less distraction in their lives. People who are tired of the consumer treadmill and want something different. But who might struggle with minimalism? People who genuinely love collecting things might struggle. If your collections bring you real joy and you actively engage with them, minimalism might not be for you. Artists, crafters, and makers who need materials and supplies might struggle. Your tools aren't clutter. They're necessary for your work. Don't force minimalism on your creative practice. People living with family members who aren't minimalist will face challenges. You can't force minimalism on others. And living with different values under one roof takes negotiation and compromise. People who aren't ready emotionally might struggle. If you're going through a lot right now, adding the emotional work of decluttering might be too much. And that's okay. Timing matters. And people who are naturally content with what they have might not need minimalism. If your relationship with possessions is already healthy and balanced, you might not need to change anything. Here's what I want you to understand. Minimalism is a tool. Not a religion. Not a moral imperative. A tool. And like any tool, it's useful for some jobs and not for others. It helps some people and not others. And that's perfectly fine. The question you need to ask yourself is not, should I be a minimalist? The question is, would minimalism serve my goals and values? Do you want less stress? More time? Better focus? Financial freedom? Environmental responsibility? Mental clarity? If yes, then minimalism might be a useful tool for you. Are you willing to face the challenges? The social pressure? The emotional work of letting go? The ongoing commitment? If yes, then you might be ready for minimalism. But if you love your possessions and they bring you genuine joy, if your life feels balanced as it is, if the challenges outweigh the benefits for you, then minimalism might not be your path. And that's okay. Really. There's no prize for being a minimalist. There's only the question of whether it serves your life. In the next videos, we'll explore how to practice minimalism. If you've decided it might be right for you, we'll start with practical first steps. Then we'll dive into specific areas. Digital minimalism. Mental minimalism. Relationship minimalism. But for now, I just want you to think. To reflect. To be honest with yourself about what you want and what you're willing to give up to get it. Because minimalism always involves trade-offs. Less stuff means less variety. Fewer choices means less flexibility in some ways. Saying no means potentially disappointing people. But it also means more space. More freedom. More clarity. More peace. Only you can decide if that trade is worth making. Thank you for watching. Think about what we discussed today. Sit with the benefits and the challenges. And notice how you feel when you imagine a more minimal life. Does it excite you? Does it scare you? Does it feel right? Does it feel wrong? All of those feelings are valid. All of them are information. In the next video, we'll talk about how to start. The first practical steps. But only if you've decided minimalism might be worth trying. See you then. I hope this video brought you something meaningful. If you find it helpful, please like and share it with someone who may need it. Subscribe if you would like to hear more stories like this. Wishing you a calm and peaceful day.